We will start the tutorial to energize the 737 with the supplementary procedure electrical power up. This is the supplementary procedure 6.1. When we find the airplane in a cold and dark state, we switch the battery on with the guard closed. We check the standby power switch, guard closed. We check the alternate flaps master switch, guard closed. The windshield wiper selectors in the park position. The electric hydraulic pump switches off. The landing gear lever in the down position, and we verify that the green landing gear indicator lights are illuminated and the red landing gear indicator lights are extinguished. If we need now to start the APU, or if external power is needed, we should verify that the ground power available light is illuminated, and we would switch the ground power switch on. I'm going to show you now. We are going to connect the ground power. So now we have the ground power available light is illuminated. Once we have the blue light, which means ground power is available and is of good quality, we turn the switch on. Once we do that, we verify that the source of lights are extinguished. We verify that the transfer bus off lights are extinguished, and we verify that the standby power of lights are extinguished. If we need APU power, we would proceed to do the fire test. We call maintenance personnel to alert from personnel before we do the fire test. To do the fire test, we verify that the engine number 1, the APU, and the engine number 2 fire switches are all in. We check the overheat detector switches in normal position, which are these two. We could find them in another position as I'm showing you, and we check them in normal position. The test switch, we hold it to fault in on. We verify the master caution lights are illuminated. We verify that the overheat detection annunciator is illuminated. We verify that the fault light is illuminated. If the fault light fails to illuminate, that means the fault monitoring system is inoperative. We verify that the APU detection enough light is illuminated. There is a note in the supplementary procedure. It's not a note, it's it says do not operate the APU if the APU detection enough light fails to illuminate, because that means we don't have a fire detection available for the APU. So now the test switch, we hold it to overheat fire. We verify that the fire warning bell sounds here. We verify that the master fire warning lights are illuminated. We verify that the master caution lights are illuminated. We verify that the overheat detection initiator is illuminated, and the master fire warning light we push. Then we verify that the master fire warning lights are extinguished. We verify that the fire warning bell cancels, and we verify that the engine number 1 APU and the engine number 2 fire switches stay illuminated, as we saw earlier. We check the extinguisher test switch. We check both sides, to the left, to the right. We check the squibs, 3 green lights. Now we finished the fire test, we could start the APU. To start the APU, we switch on one of the left side manifold fuel pump, and we select switch the APU switch to the start position. Now the start cycle of the APU is just starting. The low pressure light is normal, it should extinguish. The EGT rises, and when the EGT decreases normally to 450 degrees, the blue light, APU generator off bus should come on. Generator off bus light is on. And we switch on the APU generator buses. We verify that the source of lights are extinguished. We verify the transfer bus of lights are extinguished. We verify that the standby power of light is extinguished, and we verify that all the APU lights are extinguished, which are the APU main, APU low oil pressure, APU fault, and APU overspeed. Should we have done this procedure without having AC power from the ground power, we would recheck the APU fire test to see the wheel well light. When we redo the test to check the wheel well, we cancel the bell ringing from that bell cutout. Thank you very much for seeing this video.